So while we're waiting, we're just going to get into our disclaimer here. So in response to COVID-19, PSP is offering virtual fitness to Canadian Armed Forces members. By using social media platforms, the virtual fitness classes tailored to the Canadian Armed Forces personnel become accessible to all. Participants who are not Canadian Armed Forces members recognize and acknowledge that their age, health status, and physical fitness level are unknown, and it is entirely up to each individual to assess their ability to participate in this class. Since it is preferable to consult your physician before beginning in any exercise program, we invite all participants who are not Canadian Armed Forces members to consult the Get Active Questionnaire, link in the description, from the Canadian Society for Exercise Physiology and its reference documents. If you experience pain or difficulty during anything in this video, please stop and consult your healthcare provider. If any CAF member sustains an injury during this video, please fill out a CF98. You shouldn't sustain any injury, as today is a mobility class. So we're going to go primarily through the foot, ankle, hips, and then we're going to hit the shoulder as well. Please let me know if you guys can hear me and everything like that. If you have a lacrosse ball, go ahead and grab it. If not, that's okay. We have quite a few different variations, is the word I'm looking for these. So we're just going to wait another few seconds here to get you guys going. So if you have a lacrosse ball, grab it. If you don't have a lacrosse ball, tennis ball, baseball, softball, elastic ball, whatever you got, go ahead and use that. There will be modifications where you can just use your hands as well. That's perfectly fine. So, like I said, today is a mobility class. My name is Lenentine. I am a FSI from CFP Shearwater. Mobility is kind of my area that I like the most, so we're going to get into some key problem areas for you guys, especially since right now under quarantine we're definitely sitting too much, so our hips are going to be tight, our shoulders are going to be tight, our T-spine is going to be tight, so we're going to get into all those areas today. So with that being said, we're going to start with that. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to get into your T-spine, so your upper mid-back. We're just going to do a couple of different things here. First one here, we're just going to do a quadruped T-spine rotation. So you're going to want your knees underneath your hips, hands underneath your shoulders, back nice and neutral. You're going to bring one hand behind your ear. You're going to rotate down, rotate up, nice and controlled. And we're going to do 10 of these per side. Just trying to get a little bit further each time you rotate up. Breathe in as you go down, out as you rotate up. Once you're done, just switch sides. After this one, we're going to do world's greatest stretch. Nice and controlled. Nice steady breaths. It's a nice day outside. Feel free to do this outside. Feel free to play your own music. Whatever you like to do. So the next one, we're going to do another T-spine drill, but we're going to add a little bit of extension through our hips. So extension is something that we kind of lack since we sit too much. So we're going to go through that a little bit. So we're going to go into a nice deep lunge position. You're going to slide that back leg out. So you want to get this hip as straight as you possibly can. Keep that arch in your front foot. That other knee goes out wide. From there, whatever knee's forward, that hand is going to come behind your ear. You're going to tuck down and rotate up. Same thing we just did, but now we're getting a little extra in our hips. You may find you get a little bit more range here with that hip nice and straight. It's perfectly normal. 10 reps per side. Nice steady breathing. When you're done your 10 on this side, go ahead, step back, switch feet. One side will be tighter than the other. That's perfectly normal. Remember, try to keep that arch in your foot. Do one more for good luck. Perfect. So, if your T-pot and spine gets tight, your neck and your lower back are going to compensate for that local mobility. Hi Trina, thanks for coming. From there, we're actually going to start from the bottom up. So we're going to start with your feet, then we're going to go to the knee, hip, and from there on. So along with this consumer course I just did on foot health and hip dysfunction. So for every hour we sit in a chair, we're supposed to do 1 minute of hip extension per hip. Most people don't even do a minute of stretching per day, so we're going to go into that. So this is the part where we're going to use the lacrosse ball. If you don't have a lacrosse ball or any type of ball, just sit tight. We got some stuff for you after this. So for the first one here, you're going to start on the inside of your foot, so at the knuckle of your big toe, and you're going to roll down and up, working your way to the outside of your foot. And we're just going to repeat this for 1 minute, okay? Let's take a step back so my head's not cut off here. Timer's already on, so just go back and forth. Put pressure on your foot. It should feel like somebody's tickling your foot. If you don't feel that, you're probably not putting enough pressure. So our foot has 26 bones, 33 joints, and 4 layers of muscle tissue, and it is our base of support. We don't take care of our feet as much as we should, so this will definitely help. So we got 20 seconds left before we're going to do our second one, same foot. So if you want to help your feet, this drill here, 2 minutes each foot, twice a day for 2 weeks minimum. Then you should see some difference. So for our second minute here, you're going to start at the base of your pinky toe, and you're actually going to roll across the base of your toes, and then come back. And then you're going to slowly come down towards your heel, okay? So just going side to side this time, gradually working your way down. Once you get down to the heel, you just come right back up to the top at the base of your pinky. You should feel your foot kind of wrap around that ball, okay? This is allowing for all that movement in the foot. Our foot allows us to move quite a bit through those joints. Like I said, there's 33 of them, so there's a lot of movement happening at the foot. A lot of time, thanks to shoes and everything like that, we kind of have this steady block. Like if you want to test something, go get your shoe and see how much it folds, okay? If it doesn't fold, you're not getting a lot of movement through your foot, which is not something we want to have. We want to allow that foot to move freely. That's why, especially now, being barefoot is great because we got nowhere to go. So go ahead and stop. Shake out your feet. That foot should feel like somebody's tickling the bottom of it right now. And we're just going to do the same thing at the other side. So we're going to start at the base of the big toe, and we're going to start going up and down. Just gradually working our way to the inside of the foot. If this muscle tissue wasn't bound up, we should have the ability to stand straight on the ball, other leg off the floor, and not feel an absurd amount of pain. I'm not going to do that because I feel an absurd amount of pain when I do it. Tried it twice, doesn't feel great. Got about 30 seconds left before we switch to our side to side. After this, we'll toss the lacrosse ball to the side, and we'll get into actually moving our foot around with our hands a little bit. 15 seconds here. Rolling up and down, following that line of muscle tissue, fascia on the bottom of your feet. Find a trigger point, sit on it a little bit. Now we're going to go to the base of the pinky toe, and we're going to go side to side. Should almost see your toes flare out a little bit. That's what we want. So our toes actually aren't supposed to fully touch each other. But since we shove them into shoes that force them into that position, they kind of adapt over time. If you don't feel that tickling sensation, go ahead and add more pressure to it. 25 seconds left. I'm finally getting to the point where my toes can separate freely, which is nice. Ten seconds. And relax. Go ahead, slide that ball over to the side. We're actually going to come down to the ground. So for this one, we're going to do 2 manual manipulations, can't talk to that, with the feet itself. So we're going to do a little oscillation, can't speak. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab your foot, okay? You're going to bring your foot right up over top of your thigh. You're going to grab your foot and you're going to twist in and out, okay? Just adding a little bit of rotation through that midfoot. So the top part of our foot and our calcaneus, so our heel, should be able to rotate independently from each other, okay? So we're just using our foot, twisting back and forth, getting to those end ranges of each foot to allow for that movement. Going for a minute on this side. A lot of this will be timed, especially with the foot and ankle portion of this. Just rotating in and out. You may feel some pops. That's perfectly normal. Things shifting around. A lot of times it's just air in the joint. So, not a big deal. 10 seconds before we're going to do the next one on this foot. Just find those end ranges, explore it a little bit. Relax. So the next one, we're actually going to put our fingers between our toes, okay? So fingers in between our toes. Trying to get all the way down to the base to the point where we can actually make a fist on our forefoot. From there, you're just going to start rotating, okay? Explore those end ranges of the toe itself. Rotate through, especially this one, you're going to feel some pops because we're not used to going through this range of motion. Big thing here is when you push up on your big toe, if you feel a pull in the bottom of your foot, you're lacking big toe extension, which is something you want because that helps us propel ourselves forward when we walk, okay? A lot of this can stem from a hip dysfunction, which is exactly what we're going to go through here at the beginning, or not at the beginning, in a little bit here. Hopefully get you guys in a better walking pattern after this. Especially when we sit a lot, we lose that natural walking pattern because we lose access to our glutes. And if we don't have weight bearing on our feet, we kind of lose some of that activity in the musculature there. And relax. Go ahead, shake out your feet. You can look at your feet as well. Try to spread your toes apart if you can. If they don't spread apart, that's fine. The foot you just worked on should look different from the other. You may be able to see from the video if you can splay your toes, like your fingers. That's a good start. Okay, from there, we're going to go back to grabbing the foot on the other side. And my stopwatch messed up. So just grab and twist. Just adding that movement through the midfoot. Letting it rest on the side. If you want to add a little bit more torque, you can kind of hold that in place and kind of do a few pumps with your leg. Get a little bit of torque in there. And you're just twisting back and forth. You can go up and down if you want as well. But just adding that movement through the foot. "20 seconds here, and then we're going to put our fingers between our toes. After this, we're going to go into the ankle. 5 seconds. Good. Now we're going to add those fingers between the toes. So just kind of gradually work your way down. It may take a little bit to get there. Wiggle them around so your toes actually separate. Try to make a fist as best you can. And then we're just going to add our circles. So explore that end range of each one. Do some clockwise, do some counterclockwise. Just explore those end ranges. So we're going to do a lot of exploration on the end ranges of our joints today, specifically through the foot and the ankle. Help us there, especially through the hip. We've got quite a few hip drills to go through. We're halfway here, and just work your way around. Try to squeeze your fingers with your toes if you want. Try to get some of that dormant musculature actually working. So remind your brain that you do have toes. But sometimes when we don't use our muscles, our brain kind of forgets they're there, and toes fall victim to that all the time. Almost there. And relax. Go ahead, shake out your toes. So if you look at your feet and the base of your foot, so right at the knuckles is the widest point of your foot, we have an issue. Because your top of your toes should be the widest point of your foot, because you should be able to splay your toes out. So doing those drills for a minimum of 2 weeks, twice a day, will help with that. From there, we're going to get into the ankle a little bit. So we're going to come up into this half kneeling position. Big thing here is you want to make sure that heel, try to angle off for you guys, that heel stays on the floor. Okay, from there, a couple options. Keep your hands on the floor, and you're just going to push over top of your foot. So knee traveling over your third toe, so that middle toe. If you want, you can bring your hands up top and push down, okay? Keep that heel on the floor. Try to keep that arch in your foot. Try to fight for it. If you find a big pinch sensation, try to back off a little bit or explore pushing in and out a little bit more. Gonna go a few more seconds on this side. You can add a couple pumps here too, so just backing off slightly, trying to get a little bit further into that tissue each time. If you have an ankle injury or anything like that, or previous ankle injuries, this is probably going to feel a little weird for you. That's normal. Back off of it, and then we're going to switch feet. The same thing, keep that heel on the floor, keep that arch set. Push that knee over top of that third toe, so that middle toe, and just hang out. One side will probably feel worse than the other. I know for me, my non-dominant foot is a little bit tighter because I usually use that foot to plant. So if I'm going to kick a ball or anything like that, this is going to be my plant foot, so there's going to be a little less motion in it because I'm so used to stabilizing and squeezing through. That's typically the case. So if that is perfectly normal, don't be surprised. Add a little bit of weight. If you want, you can actually add that weight and try to reach forward. Try to think of something that's just out of reach that you're going for. And then you can come back. Kind of helps with those little pulses. We got 15 seconds left. We're actually going to explore this in the bottom of the squat here in a second. Still keeping that knee tracking over that third toe, and we're going to relax. So the next one, we're going to add in some squat to it. So you're going to come up into your squat stance, feet either hip or shoulder width apart, depending what you're comfortable with. So we're going to do two things here. We're going to do a little test after this. So from here, you're just going to come down to the bottom of your squat. You're going to hang out here for 30 seconds. If you feel your ankles, your hips, your low back, or the front part of your shins lighting up with this, then we have a little bit of stuff to do. But that's why we're here. That's what this class is for. We're going to cover it. So, going off of what we just did, you're going to push, pick a knee, and you're going to push that knee over top of the center of that foot, and you're actually going to reach with your hands. Okay? So we're going to hang out here for a few seconds. Try to think of something just out of reach that you're going for, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to do this a couple more times. So reach, feel that stretch, about 5-second hold, and then come back. Do one more. Hold that position. Good. Coming back. And then we're going to come back to center. Kind of feel that ankle a little bit. And then we're going to come on to that opposite leg. So, knee tracking over the third toe. Use your chest if you want to. Add a little bit more pressure. And try to reach for something just out of your reach. We're going to come back up. Pause for a sec. And then we're going to go back to reaching for a 5-second count. Come back. We're going to do one more. Relax. And then we're just going to sit at the bottom of the squat here. So if you want a challenge for yourself, see if you can get into this deep squat position and be comfortable. Okay, we should be comfortable sitting in this position. If you really want to challenge yourself, try to stay in this position for 10 minutes. Okay? The more you do it, the better you're going to be at it, because your musculature is going to get more used to being here. If you want to test everything, so we're going to come up to standing now, shake out the legs. If you want to see if you have good ankle range of motion, we're going to do this test. So you're going to bring your feet together, and we're just going to squat. So feet together, we're going to squat down. See if you're comfortable here. If you fall over, we got some work to do on your ankles, okay? This is a really simple test to see if you have the right range in your ankles, or what we call dorsiflexion, so the ability to pull your toes towards your shins, okay? And then come up. For the next one, we're actually going to get into your shins, so we're going to get this tibialis anterior. So if you pull your toes up, you're going to feel this big muscle on the side of the bone here. If you have shin splints, this is going to be great for you. So we're going to come down to kneeling, toes pointed back, and we're just going to sit on your heels. This shouldn't hurt, okay? If your ankles feel like they're going to blow up, go ahead and come forward a little bit, put a towel underneath, or you can even use your hands to kind of limit how far those ankles go. And you're just going to sit here. If you want to add more to it, you can come up onto your toes, lift your knees. Okay, that's going to put a lot more pressure on that front side of the ankle. So, if that felt like your ankles are going to blow up, you're going to have a great time with this next one. If you have a lacrosse ball, we're going to grab that. If you don't worry, because I'm going to show you another variation with it. Just hang tight. So, you're going to find that big muscle in the front side of your shin. So if you're reaching your shin, you're going to find this big bone. Right on the top part, you're going to feel this muscle. Very big. Should be a little thick. You're going to take your lacrosse ball. You're going to put it right on that muscle. Here, you're going to keep your knee down, pin that muscle to the floor, and you're going to move your toes around. Okay? And then after a few seconds, we're just going to move ourselves down. If you don't have a lacrosse ball, a couple options. You can take a fist and put it under that area as well, or just your hand, whichever one. Or you can come up with your fingers, come on either side of that big bone, and push straight down. Okay? And then when you get to the bottom, we're just going to come back up. We're just trying to release that pressure on the front side. So I'm going to go back to the lacrosse ball. You just tack. It's called tacking and flossing. So you're just pinning the musculature down and then putting joint through range of motion and just gradually going down. So if you're a runner and you have shin splints, this will definitely help, especially for a lot of long distance runners at high levels. There's actually a surgery where you cut this muscle in half to release pressure. Don't need to do that. Got a little bit of a hip dysfunction, you're just running a little bit differently. A few seconds here, we're just going to switch sides. Once we get into the hip, you're going to find out real quick. Most of the population has a hip dysfunction. It's perfectly normal, but we got to combat it a little bit. So we're just going to take that out, relax for a second, kind of retest by sitting on your ankle and see if there's a difference. I know the side I just went feels a lot lower to the floor compared to the other side, which is good. And then we're just going to switch to this side and do the exact same thing. So just pin it, move that ankle around for a little bit. You can spend a lot more time in this position if you'd like to. It's completely up to you. And then just gradually work your way down the shin. It's nice and slow. You're going to find some tender spots. It's perfectly normal, especially if you're digging in there with the finger variation. You can choose your pressure a lot more, and you'll find some sore spots. Just gradually work your way down. If you want to add more pressure, kind of sit on that heel a little bit more. Add more of your body weight to that position. And then just keep moving down. After this, we're going to get into the hip. It's a modified 90-90 to start. And then kind of just right above your ankle. Last spot here. After this, we can get rid of the lacrosse ball. There we go. So go ahead, you can get rid of your lacrosse ball. Please stay there. Perfect. So, next one, we're going to get into the hips. So hips are something people are going to have a big issue with because, like I said at the beginning of the video, for every minute we're in a seat or in a chair, or for every hour rather we're in a chair, you spend 1 minute per hip getting that into extension. Okay? So, we're going to do a modified 90-90 to start. So 90-90, you're coming down. You want 90 degrees in your knee in the front, 90 degrees in your groin between your legs, and then 90 degrees in that back leg. So, we're just going to do the regular 90-90 to start. We're just going to explore that range. So you're going to come up as much as you can. So I'm going to try to angle this. So come up, sit up as much as you can without trying to fall over. Try to keep this hip pressed down. And you're just going to fold over your knee and kind of explore that range. And then we're going to come back up. Now we're going to go for the middle of our lower leg here. So we're going right in the middle. Explore. You might feel some pull in your hamstrings. That's normal. Got tight hamstrings. Come back up. And now we're going to go right for the ankle. So we're rotating in. And we're just going to rotate through this a couple times. So we're going to come back up. And then we're going to go right back over the knee. Hang out for about 5 seconds. Come back up. Mid-shin. 5 seconds here as well. And then over the ankle. As close as you can get. Cool. So we're going to go through that one more time, but we're going to add a little twist. So we're going to add some internal rotation to that back leg. So pay attention to my back leg here. We're going to do a demonstration first. So as we go through that first one, we're actually going to add a little bit of internal rotation. So the ability to lift that back foot as we go in. So you're going to pin that knee, pick up the heel. So as we rotate forward, you're actually going to pick up that back leg. Okay? You're going to hold here for that 5 seconds. Then when we come up, you can lower. Okay? So, we're going to start by going over that knee. We're going to do 2 rounds of this, and then we're going to switch to the other side. Okay? So, hinge forward. Pick up that back leg into internal rotation. And release. Now we're going to go mid-shin. Same idea. As you work your way to the ankle, this is going to be harder to do. Back up and towards the ankle. If you can't get your leg up, that's fine. Just activate that musculature to try. Come up. And then we're going to go back over the knee. Try to maintain that 90-90 position. So forward, rotate up. Come up mid-shin. If you're shaking, that's normal. Mid-shin. Up. One more over the ankle. Or as close as you can get anyways. And relax. Go ahead and just come up to a seated. One leg should feel quite a bit looser. And then we're just going to switch to the other side. And we're going to move this a little bit. So that 90-90 position, it's again 90 degrees, front knee, 90 degrees, hip, 90 degrees in that back leg. 2 rounds starting off. Keep yourself up nice and straight. Try not to fall over. If you need to grab your ankle, by all means. Lean forward into that leg. If you can add that reach, but it's going to add a lot more pressure, okay? Come up. Mid-foot, or mid-shin rather. 5 seconds. Up, and then we're going right over the ankle. So we're not adding that internal rotation yet. We're just working away at these end ranges. And up. One more time, we're going over the knee. Up. Mid-shin. Up. And then over the ankle. And up. Cool. So now we're going to add that internal rotation. This is going to be bad. This side's bad for me. But whatever. Just get it to the point where you're trying to lift that leg. Okay? So it's all about creating that torque in the hip and getting those muscles active to actually try to get there. Okay? So, going over the knee, rotating up. Best you can. 5 seconds. Come back up. Mid-shin. Add that rotation. Come up. And then we're going to go over the ankle. And up. One more round. So going back over the knee. Internal rotation on that back hip. Come up. Mid-shin. Up. Last one over the ankle. And release. Go ahead and stand up. See if you feel a difference in your hips. Shake it out a little bit. So the next one, we're just going to go into some standing hip rotations. We have time. We're good. So these ones you can add in your warm-up. This is going to incorporate some balance, so if you need to hold on to something, by all means do so. So, you're going to pick a leg. I'm going to rotate my right leg. I'm also going to step back so you can see my whole head. So, I'm going to go with my right leg. You choose whatever. Your other foot is just going to stay planted. So we want to keep this leg as straight as we can. So you're going to come up, out, gently touch the floor, up, and back in. Okay, we're going to do 5 of these. So up, out, twist, gently touch, and repeat. So just working on the inside of the hip. After this, we're going to add a little bit more. One more. Good. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So, up, out, reach back, just touch the floor, and then come back up. That's 1. Try to go nice and steady. Keep that balance. That other leg should stay straight. Good. 2 more. Big fan of this one. If you ever done one of my live classes, you've definitely done this one before. Went too fast. Good. So the next one we're actually going to add in circles with the hip. Okay? We're going to do 10 clockwise, 10 counterclockwise. So, pick your foot, or going back to the original foot, so in my case the right, we're going to come up, out, we're not going to reach, we're just going to circle with the hip, okay? Try to make the biggest circle you can throughout. We're going to do 10 of these clockwise, so this is 5 for me, and then 10 counterclockwise. Try and create that big circle best you can. Once you're done 10 clockwise, you're just going to go the opposite way. So these can be thrown in a warm-up as well. Big thing here is making sure that other leg staying straight. Once you're done at 10 there, switch sides. Should feel your other glute working to stabilize. That's good, we want that. So same thing. I'm going to go clockwise first. Feel a click, that's just some tendon sliding over the bone. That'll go away over time. Obviously, if there's pain, make smaller circles and adapt how you need to. This one's good too because it'll help you with your balance. Of course, I lose mine as I say it. Hands go wherever you want. If you want them on your hips, you can go there. It's up to you. 10 each way. Almost there. Oh. There we go. So shake it out. Give it time. So we're going to do one more. We're actually going to move from the hip to the shoulder. If you find that difficult for your hips, keep at it, okay? So twice a day, 2 weeks, try to spend 2 minutes on each of those 10 reps. Okay, we're 1. So we're going to go into the shoulders. So we're going to do some internal rotation to the shoulder. If your shoulders are kind of folded in like this is going to feel real good for you, okay? So we're going to come down to our side. You're going to roll on your side. You're going to want to pin your shoulder to the ground, and you want that elbow right in front of your shoulder. So you're using your chest. Keep that elbow in the floor. If you have something to put under your head, go ahead and do that, or you can just let it hang. It's completely up to you. From here, you're going to bring your hand up to the top part of your hand and fold down. So that top hand is not pushing down, okay? It's just there to add a little weight for gravity to slowly bring it down. I'm going to start my stopwatch. So you're not trying to wrench your shoulder down. You're just using that hand as a weight, okay? We're going to spend a minute here. After this, we're going to do a little squat test, and then you're free to wreak havoc on the town. It's a beautiful day outside. I know I'm going hiking after this. Try to enjoy it. It's supposed to be like 24 on Friday, which is going to be awesome. We're halfway through here. After this, we're going to do a 2-minute squat test. Almost there, 5 seconds. Slowly unwind. And switch sides. Coming to the other side. Same idea, pinning that shoulder down. I'm going to use this cushion for my head. Not that it's very thick. So pin that shoulder, elbow in front of the shoulder. Use that upper hand to help fold down. Once again, just allowing that hand to rest there. You're not forcing your hand towards the ground. Should feel a bit of a pull in the back of your shoulder. And we just hang out here. Put your legs wherever you want. This one's more about the upper body. And then just breathe. So a lot of the stuff we did today is from that course I was talking about. It's from the Foot Collective. Obviously there's a lot more. I got both of their courses and seminars, so it's about 8 hours worth of stuff. So if you're interested, go check those out. A few more seconds here, 10 to be exact. And slowly unwind. So now we're going to come up to standing. Our last thing here is we're going to try to up the amount of time that you're spending in that squat. So pick your squat stance. Big thing here is keeping that arch active, keeping those heels on the floor. So you have to go wider, that's fine. Whatever you need to do to adapt to this, by all means. If you want to test yourself and go feet together, go ahead. I'm going to do that just to see. And we're going to come down into that squat, get comfortable. We're here for 2 minutes. I think this is going to be more of a balance thing for me. If you want to test your ankle range of motion, find a wall. Start your toes about 3 inches away from the wall and try to touch your knee to the wall without your heel coming up. If you can do that, scoop your foot back a little bit more and then try again. What you're trying to measure is the distance between your toe and the wall. Okay? So that's going to be the distance that your knee travels. If you can do that, you're in a good spot. Ultimate goal is 5, but 3, you definitely have a good ankle. Coming up on a minute here. Just try to get comfortable. Like I said, if you can get into this position and spend about 10 minutes cumulative a day, by all means do so. As you can tell, you can probably see the chair sitting over here. I took that away from my kitchen table, so it forces me to sit more. I use my laptop on the floor now. Big thing here is sitting's not bad, it's the amount of time you spend seated. Okay? So if you're sitting on the floor, you're more likely to change your position, whereas if you're sitting on the couch, at the kitchen table, in a car, you're less likely to actually change positions, okay? So with that, you actually end up creating this clamp on the front side of your hip. So when you stand up, you have 2 options. You kind of stay in this like semi-hunched over position, which most people don't pick to do, or you try to stand up straight at the cost of overarching your back, okay? Do that too much, 1, lower back issues, come up to standing, and 2, we lose access to our glutes, which affects our walking gait, our running gait, and everything we do to actually propel ourselves forward. So you want to get better than that? Each step you take, squeeze your butt, okay? Eventually it'll warm up, and you can just kind of do it. Cool? If you have any questions on anything we did today, go ahead and leave a comment. If you liked the class, go ahead and comment, like, share, use the hashtags in the description, and we will see you guys next time.